At Umerport, the morning began like any other. Steel cables humming, gulls crying overhead, and a crane poised against the pale sky. Then came the lift. The load rose unevenly, swaying as if uncertain of its own balance. Operators ignored the subtle tilt, the strained groan of worn-out pulleys, the quiet protest of bolts long past their prime. Uneven forces twisted the boom, defying the simple truths Newton once set to paper. In seconds, metal screamed and folded in on itself. What followed wasn't fate, but a chain of small neglects, missed inspections, rushed decisions, overlooked warnings, each one whispering that this disaster had been preventable. An excavator rumbled at the construction site, carefully lifting a massive rock toward the waiting truck. As the load settled onto the bed, it shifted dangerously to one side. The truck began to tilt, then suddenly flipped over. In the chaos, the driver reacted quickly and jumped out, escaping unharmed. When the tractor-trailer overturned on the rain-slick highway, it lay like a fallen giant, its wheels still spinning in the cold night air. What seemed at first like a straightforward recovery quickly proved to be anything but simple. The rescue team arrived in a convoy of flashing lights and focused determination. They studied the angle of the wreck, the weight distribution, and the unstable ground beneath it. Heavy-duty cranes were positioned with care, and high-strength towing cables were secured inch by inch. Every movement was calculated with precision, because one wrong shift could make the massive vehicle roll again. In the heavy machinery industry, experience can sharpen your instincts, but it can't silence the risks that wait in silence. I was reminded of that the day a Caterpillar 65H was grading a highway embankment. The ground looked firm enough until it wasn't. Without warning, the massive machine lost traction, slid down the slope, and plunged into a canal below. For a moment, everything froze. A Caterpillar 750 was quickly sent to help. Its engine roared with determination as it approached the edge, but the terrain was treacherous. The soil shifted beneath its weight, and suddenly, it too was in danger. When the second machine tilted sharply on the steep incline, nearly rolling over, my heart leapt into my throat. What followed felt like an action film. Both machines were trapped in thick mud until an excavator arrived, swinging its steel arm like a hero. With patience and precision, it pulled them back to safety, one by one. From deep mud to loose sand, the truck labored on, without a single moment of rest. Its tires spun helplessly, sinking deeper with every attempt to break free. The air was thick with dust and the low growl of engines straining against the earth. Just when it seemed the truck would surrender to the terrain, help arrived.
There she goes. That back axle's trying to hang up.
Two tracked machines rumbled forward like mechanical giants built for battle. They had been made for the toughest jobs, unyielding, powerful, relentless. One positioned itself at the front, cables tightening with a sharp metallic snap. The other moved behind, its broad blade steady and firm. A signal was given.
So we got the skidder on the back. We're going to do her all in one motion. Once that wheel pops up and over that sand ball it's got right now, it's going to take right off. Oop, Cody's on top of the axle. There it goes. Watch out, the axle's going to pop up. Push through, 1 or 2 there, it's just coming up slowly.
One pulled, one pushed. Engines roared in unison, the ground trembled, and then, boom, the truck lurched free, rolling back onto solid ground. What had moments ago looked hopeless was resolved with precision and strength, like a real-life rescue mission unfolding before your eyes. What do you think of this display of teamwork? Would you take the wheel? The dawn mist still clung to the roads of Sinop as the mighty Osco's heavy-duty truck rolled forward, its engine humming with patient strength. Built for burdens others would refuse, it carried a colossal turbine rotor destined for the Paranita power plant. Its advanced traction system gripped the asphalt with quiet determination, while the ultra-durable chassis bore the immense weight without complaint. Every turn had been calculated, every bridge measured, every kilometer planned. The convoy moved like a disciplined giant, balancing precision and power, knowing that one misstep could cost millions. Through Sinop it passed, steady, deliberate, hauling not just steel, but the promise of energy for thousands. The rain had not stopped for days, turning the construction site into a stretch of mud and murky water. In the middle of it all, a specialized machine crawled forward, its steel body splattered and streaked, yet unyielding. Its task was precise, to install a fiber optic cable line beneath the soaked and unstable ground. Around it, workers moved carefully, their boots sinking with every step. They communicated through quick gestures and shouted instructions over the hum of the engine. Each person had a role, guiding the cable, monitoring the tension, checking alignment, ensuring the delicate line was laid perfectly and without damage. The terrain resisted them at every turn, but the powerful mechanical equipment pressed on, steady and reliable. Bit by bit, meter by meter, progress was made. What could have been an impossible job became a story of determination. Proof that resilience in modern telecommunications technology can overcome even the harshest conditions. At dawn, mist hovered low above the river, its surface restless and unpredictable. On the bank stood the Kurgenstroy service column, its solid, powerful frame poised for the challenge ahead. Built with strength at its core and precision in every detail, it seemed almost alive, ready to prove itself against the current. As the engines roared to life, their high-powered force cut through the morning silence. Slowly but confidently, the column advanced into the water. The river pushed back, swirling and testing its balance, but the structure held firm. Its stability was unmistakable, unwavering even as waves pressed against its sides. Guided by a system designed for flexible, responsive operation, the equipment adjusted seamlessly to every shift in the current. What could have been a risky maneuver unfolded instead as a display of control and reliability. When the column reached the opposite bank, it stood steady and triumphant, its mission completed safely, efficiently, and with impressive confidence. Morning mist clung to the swamp as a stranded bulldozer from John Deere sat buried to its tracks in thick, sticky mud. Its engine growled in frustration, but the earth would not let go. Then, with a steady rumble, a yellow rescuer from Caterpillar Inc. arrived. The excavator moved with calm precision. Its steel bucket dipped and carved, scooping away heavy clods of mud from around the trapped machine. Patiently, it widened the space, loosening the swamp's grip. When the moment was right, the excavator secured its pull and, with a powerful heave, drew the weary bulldozer back onto solid ground. The challenge stood before them like a silent threat, extremely dangerous, unforgiving. A single small mistake, one wrong move, a mechanical failure, or even a brief moment of hesitation could send everything spiraling into disaster. The air felt heavy as the machine roared to life, every sound magnified by the tension in the crowd. Then the master operator began. With steady hands and unshakable focus, each movement flowed seamlessly into the next. There were no errors, no slip-ups, only flawless technique and absolute control. What could have become catastrophe turned into a spectacular display of precision. When it was over, the applause said it all. The treacherous mountain roads of Peru have never welcomed the faint-hearted. At dawn, mist coils around cliffs as a convoy of Scania trucks begins its ascent. Each vehicle groans under the crushing weight of geological drilling rigs, tipping past 90 tons. The road is barely more than a scar carved into rock, one side a jagged wall, the other a plunge into endless abyss. Tires inch forward over loose gravel and crumbling edges. Drivers grip their wheels, eyes locked ahead. Here, a single misjudged turn or slipping brake would not mean delay, it would mean disaster. Watching the homemade tractor climb onto the truck was like seeing a lizard scrambling up a sun-warmed rock. The comparison sprang to mind the moment its front wheels lifted, hesitated, and searched for balance. It was both amusing and fascinating. The little machine rattled and groaned, its metal frame shivering with effort, as though it possessed a stubborn will of its own. A small crowd gathered, holding their breath each time it inched forward. With every move it made, it felt as though it was taking on a new challenge, determined to conquer the towering truck bed, despite the odds stacked against it. On July 2nd, 2011, at 3 p.m., crews tried to pull a giant trailer free using more than 5 Volvo and Scania trucks, but it refused to budge. Nearly 600 tons held it fast. A week later, a colossal Liber LTM 11,200 crane finally lifted it away. Yeah, the Keats had seen tough days before. The K700, one of the toughest tracks out there, had powered through fields, storms, and seasons without complaint. But that morning was different. Hauling a heavy load of hay through thick mud and drifting snow, even its massive engine began to strain. The tracks spun, churning slush into icy ruts, until the giant finally sank and settled with a stubborn groan. For a moment, all was still except the wind. But don't worry, help was already on the way. In the distance, another engine roared, ready to pull its fallen brother free. The sun hung low over the rugged countryside as the Evo Strauss 480 rumbled along the unforgiving dirt road. Dust swirled behind it, and every rut and ridge tested its balance. Then, without warning, one wheel sank deep into a hidden groove. The vehicle lurched violently, leaning at a dangerous angle before tipping off the road's edge. Assessing the situation proved tricky. The uneven ground and shifting gravel made every step uncertain. For a tense moment, all was still. Then, in the distance, help appeared. The rescue team arrived swiftly, working together with calm precision to stabilize the Evo Strauss 480 and bring relief to the shaken driver. On Sunday, February 8, 2015, the quiet mountain community of Pacosbamba in the district of Piscobamba, devastating day.